I think we should be live. There we go. Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing?
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I see
Welcome
that
to episode
my
4.
cameras are lagging, but that doesn't matter.
Nah, it doesn't matter. We're all good.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Chuse is 2? What do you mean?
I am 2. What?
Chuse is 2?
Chuse is who? What?
Who's who?
Who's who?
DG2? Who's
This
who?
is the most scuffed part of the podcast.
My God.
Yeah.
Okay, the cameras are a bit laggy. I think it might be because the stream is on right now. Doesn't matter though. It will be for this time. Alright. Everything is ready, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think everything is good.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday or Thursday if you're in New Zealand. Welcome back to Zcast, episode 4, where we've been pretty good at it, keeping consistent times. Went live this time really at 7:15, my time, at least. Today's gonna be a great episode because we have MrChuse with us, who's gonna be talking a bit about renders with us. But we're also gonna be talking, if you guys did not know, about the leaked Warzone map for Season 3. Or even Season 2 Reloaded. We shall see, right? Revive, take it away.
Alright, so if you guys did not know, the past couple of weeks, there have been zombies in Verdansk. So we do not know why they're so slow. Usually when there's a zombies outbreak, they go pretty quick and start spreading, but we'll leave it at that for now. But we do know that there's going to be a new Warzone map coming soon, pretty soonish, hopefully. And recently we got a list of the map POIs for this new map. All of them have been leaked, as you could say, and there's a lot compared to Verdansk. I'm pretty sure there's way more than there is.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah. So I guess I'll go over some of them right now. So let's see. We got just a couple of names here. We got Battery, Silo, Caves, Chemical Lab, Camp, Downhill, Duga, Forest, Galova, ICBM, Ice Rink, Mines, Mansion, Ruka, Ski Slopes, Sanatorium, Stadium, Station, Nuclear Outpost, Underwater, Wind, WMD, and Zoo. So those are just a few of, or I think those are most of the locations that we have right now, which are pretty much a lot, to be honest, more than I thought. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Flamer?
You missed Tomato Town.
Perfect moment.
I'm sorry. Go on.
That's okay.
Continue.
Okay.
My bad.
No worries. It's really interesting to see some of these maps since we do know a few of these locations. Like, we can already know the locations for ICBM, Sanatorium, Ski Slopes, Ruka, Galova, Forest, which probably gonna be more parts of Ruka, like the outside where we go in Outbreak. And actually, Duga, we went to inside of the campaign if you chose the evil ending. And it's also interesting to see, since this is in the Ural Mountains, that we're going back to WMD, which they could have just taken from the campaign and put it in. But also, locations like Zoo are returning from Black Ops 1, which is really interesting. I want to see what they can do with that. Like, that will be really fun if we can actually see some live animals in there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more locations than there were before, and I wonder how it's gonna work with everything. Because there's a nuclear outpost in here too, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that as well. There's a lot of areas, and I think it's gonna be a lot more. It's gonna feel a lot more fresh, I think, with this map. There's just a lot more areas that seem like it's gonna be a lot more less, buildings and just towers, skyscrapers, and more actual like land and area and different things that you can go around and do, which I think is gonna be great.
Indeed. Chuse, what are your opinions on these maps?
You know, before Outbreak, I never played any of the Fireteam maps. I still haven't actually played Fireteam apart from when it was in the beta. It's only because of Outbreak I've actually played the maps. That's just because I'm a zombies guy. No hate against the actual maps itself, it's just the game mode. So, putting them all together into one big mode like Warzone, running on the Warzone engine, I think it's going to be nice. I think it'll work well.
Yeah, I
I'd
think
do
it'll
the same.
definitely work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Pretty well. So do you guys want to talk about what they're doing right now with the lead up to this map? Kind of just what our thoughts are on them very slow teasing the event right now with the zombies and stuff. Because I have a couple things to say about it. So far the event in general, really about events as in Call of Duty in general. To be honest, and we do actually have a article we could talk about that came out yesterday that kind of goes over this again. So, basically, with the lead up to this, they've done it so far. It seems like the theme is one time per week that they're gonna change the zombies location, which doesn't make much sense to me because we have a inside of things like I know the nuclear silos. There's like the percentage that the zombies are outbreaking in the zone, and it's still at 5%. Like, you'd think eventually they would increase that percentage even by 5% or something, just to feel like there actually is progression here. Like, what is going on? And I don't really agree that they're going to take, at least the rumor is, over a month of time to bring this event to us and slowly tease and burn it. I don't think that Call of Duty is quite up to date on events like that where you're not supposed to really slow and burn and take this much time because people are going to lose interest eventually.
Yeah, if I can say anything about that, like, I think a month ago or so, we got teased that zombies was coming with the machines being put, like the trial machines inside of the hospital. And now that the zombies are finally here, we had like this counter, which was at 5% at the beginning. But that's also been 4 weeks ago, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And now that we're slowly going up, I don't hate it, but I do dislike it a bit. Since we thought, oh, maybe it's gonna be like every day there's gonna be more zombies coming until like Verdansk is fully flooded with zombies. But now we're just waiting for this percentage to go up slowly and slowly, and it's kind of tedious.
It's really tedious. It's like, how do people get excited when like you're slow burning? And then like it was really weird to me and a lot of others too that last Thursday came around, the percentage didn't go up. They just moved locations, which I don't understand how that works, because if zombies are roaming the map, they're not just gonna go all into one area. That's not how zombies works. That's never been how zombies work. Say if you're playing 4-player zombies, 3-player zombies, not all the zombies are gonna go to one person. That's like saying I'm in a game with all of you guys, and the zombies only go to me the entire game. That doesn't make sense. They don't go from one location to only another one location. They go from one location and spread. Not just go from location to location, which is really weird to me. Why they did that, I don't really get it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a weird question because you can't just have zombies all over Verdansk if it's not its own game mode, because then Warzone is always the priority for Activision and the developers. So if you have zombies all over the map, the Warzone people like Tim, what's his name, Tim the Tap Man, Dr. Disrespect, they'll be like, what the hell, I'm trying to play Warzone, but I keep getting killed by zombies. And then that's just going to die down the mode, and people are going to hate the zombies in Verdansk. You can't have it both ways.
Because with that, chuse, you have to activate the zombies, right? And we're not saying that, like, they have to spread throughout the whole map, because of course it's not going to happen until the event happens. But, like, you're telling me we can't have 2 POIs with zombies at a single time? I can't believe that, especially when you have to activate them first for them to spawn in. So it's not even like they're just roaming around and entities at the start of the game. You have to actually activate them. And it's not like Verdansk can't handle it. The engine can handle it 100%. They can handle 150 players. They can handle zombies in a couple locations at a time. I don't believe that they can't do that. And I don't see why they can't be 2 locations. Like, I'm not saying that it has to be everywhere, but 2-3 locations at a time. Like, come on, man. It's really feel like this is not any sort of special event if one place at a time gets zombies. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Okay, but I don't really think it's supposed to be a special event right now. Then I don't think they've started the process of leading up to something, like leading up to the new event, because we had the Outbreak event. That's ended. We don't have an event right now. We're just in the middle or between the end of the beginning of season 2 and then the mid-season. Nothing's happening right now. We may get something like maybe a week or 2 before the mid-season, but right now we're just nothing. There's nothing going on, so they can't have zombies all over Verdansk for a week. So that's basically changing the way you have to play Warzone for a week. No one's going to want to play for that week.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that with Verdansk, it's like they can make it so it still plays fine. Just because, why? Okay, what I'm saying is, why can't they make it so if zombies go to another area, keep them at the previous area? That doesn't make any sense to me. At the very least, they can do that. Where
They
why,
do.
when
They do.
Move
They're still on the ship.
They don't. No, they're not.
I played to
They're
them.
not.
They were
They're
on
not
the
on the
ship.
shipwreck. That's the problem.
To my knowledge, they are not at the ship anymore.
That's the problem I'm having. I don't think you guys understand that. Why can't there be previous, like, why can't they be at previous locations and then they spread? Because obviously they're not going to have locations everywhere, because then zombies would be everywhere. I know they're saving that for the big event, the big limited time mode. I understand that completely, but the problem is, when this event feels so underwhelming, and you could say it's not an event, but it's supposed to lead up to something. And with Call of Duty in the past, we know that they sometimes don't know how to lead up to events correctly, or get more anticipation, because right now it's a dry time right now. There's not much going on with COD, and we're waiting on Season 2 Reloaded still, and then Season 3 after, but there has to feel like there's some sort of progression here. If we're going through and we don't even gain 5% in a week of zombies population going up, it's gonna feel very weird. Because it's like you're not actually progressing towards anything. Because I don't think it's going to be like, okay, we're going to get a week before the event, and suddenly the thing goes from 5% to 70%. Like, that's going to feel weird. That's going to be like, what? That feels weird. What happened? Because previously we did know that they said in the picture with the percentage, there was Morse code, and it basically said that spread was definitely expected. So if that's the case, then I would assume that you're going to spread. You're not just going to move the zombies to another location. They're going to actually start spreading, which means, they stay at location A and they're at location B. At least that's what makes more sense to me when they're spreading, because that's what they've teased. So I don't know. I just think it makes more sense for them to start spreading. Not as a whole, just one by one, keeping them at locations of previous while putting them into new locations one at a time. I think that makes the most sense.
So you're basically saying, like, right now they've gone from ship to Gulag, and then they're going to go to hospital next. Are you saying that you only want like 2 locations at a time?
No, what I'm saying is I want them to, like, so they've been to prison, right, and they've been to shipwreck. So if those are locations they've been to and obviously taken over, why can't they at least have 2 of them? I mean, I would prefer if they have all 3 of them, because they've been to those locations. Why wouldn't there be zombies there? They've already spread throughout those locations, so scatter them out between those areas. I think it just makes the most sense, because again, I think everyone else can agree that it really feels weird that they've only gone from one location to another and not have spread as a whole, because that's not really how zombies works in terms of just how zombies works. Because I get that they don't want to have the whole map obviously taken over, because then people are going to be annoyed by zombies, and that makes sense 100%. But to have it not at least at 2 to 3 locations at a time because of what we have so far, I just don't see why they couldn't do that.
I kind of see what they're doing though, because having it at one area means that's the hotspot. That's where you're going to go do your challenges. That's where all the zombies are going to be. So you just know, don't go there. Because if you have it in, let's say, 4 areas, them 4 areas that you're going to see zombies going towards a direction. That means players are there. You're going to hear, like, imagine you're trying to be stealthy to sneak up on someone, but then a zombie starts attacking you, so you're going to have to shoot him. The player's going to know where you are. It's just going to be annoying. People are going to get annoyed at that fact, and they're just not going to want to play it. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I agree with you that they should eventually start spreading. Because right now they haven't spread, but they can do that in like a week. Just go like 5, 15, 30. They don't have to go 5, 70, 100.
No. No. I'm just saying, like, as long as we get at least a percentage upgrade this week, I don't care. As long as it goes from, I don't care, 5 to 10, 5 to 15, whatever, just so it feels like there's some sort of progression right now, because going from one whole week to them moving and then the percentage doesn't go up doesn't feel like any sort of progression at all. I'm not saying I want them to go from 5 to 10 and then 2 days later 20, 3 days later 20, 30, and on. I don't want. Obviously, that's not going to happen because they're going to slowly burn this event out. But, I agree with you that they obviously don't want zombies everywhere because then people are going to get annoyed. Although, it kind of was like that in Blackout, which is why I love Blackout, because you had to worry about zombies in certain locations and different things like Light Fathers and stuff like that. That's what I really loved about Blackout, but not everyone agrees with that. So I really like that you had to worry about a separate entity because it made you more, it's like a risk and reward type of thing. You're risking you going to a place because there's zombies, like Varrock, for example. You obviously risk going there because there are zombies and there might be other players, but you get rewarded with better loot. And same thing with Warzone. If you go to these locations, you get better rewards because if you kill all the zombies, you get a chest with armor satchel and all that type of stuff. And I think it's a risk reward type thing, which I don't think it's a bad thing in BR because it just shakes up the gameplay. And we haven't really had a shake up in the gameplay for Warzone in a while. And I think people should start being more accepting that, not saying that there has to be zombies everywhere, but little by little they build up because who knows, man, it is Treyarch's map for the next map. Maybe zombies will be a thing in the next map. We can only really hope to see. We'll have to figure it out because it is Treyarch's map. So, we'll have to see though in the future.
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
I think Treyarch and Raven are limited right now because Verdansk is not their map. They don't really have any jurisdiction about the new events that's happening unless it's their events. They can do a game event, so Outbreak, where it's just in general do challenges like get kills or EMPs, stuff like that. But then when it's on the map, it's like telling you to go somewhere else. It's like saying a new challenge came out in Cold War, but then it's saying go play World War II for 3 hours and that's your challenge. You want to stick to your area. Zombies is Black Ops. That is a Black Ops thing. That's why it's in Blackout, because you have zombies areas in Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Verdansk is nothing zombies related. Barely anything Cold War related. Until the new map comes out, I completely understand why there's no zombies, because it's not their area.
But then again, when it comes to the next map, then they can do whatever they want because it's their map. So
indeed.
I agree.
And then we're gonna see some of those things coming into the map with zombies. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but if you did not complete certain challenges in the Outbreak event, like killing a zombie with a shotgun 8 times, the challenge is still there to done. It's in the calling cards right now, and you can complete it still. So zombies are here to stay, 100%. Or else there will not be more calling cards like that. Like, you wouldn't be even able to get it even anymore since it was in the event.
Yeah, so zombies could be a permanent thing until the new map, because it's just like having it in one area. That's just a nice little event, which is not annoying anyone, so they can keep it.
The one thing which I do think is gonna happen is right now they're kind of doing this like Blackout, that every single time, remember, there was one area where the mystery box was, and then it moved, and then boom, the zombies were gone in that area. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I think they're doing something like that right now with them first going into Shipwreck. They're seeing a whole new world. They're going out there, infecting everybody slowly. Because that's why it's still on 5%. They haven't infected anybody yet. And when the infection goes up, that is when the more hordes come in. And then is when I think it's going to be swarming everywhere. Like, imagine that hospital right now this week is going to get flooded with zombies, well, a hospital will be the place where a lot of survivors could be infected. So we could see that the infection goes up, like by a ton.
Yeah.
Like the freaking
Yeah.
airport is empty, but the hospitals could still be infectious for everybody. So I think we're gonna be looking at 30% of the infection coming from hospital, and that's gonna slowly drive its way over to the dam. But there are zombies gonna be roaming about for those challenges, and that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen next. Is the more zombie percentage we have, the more zombies will stay at that location. So shipwreck is now empty because all the zombies moved to the prison. There's probably gonna be a few zombies left in prison, but then all of it is going to
because there's prisoners.
Yeah. Indeed, it's going to the most places where the infection could spread.
And I was gonna say, Flamer, with that point you just made, they the teaser that everyone, all the content creators got recently, it did say that it was teasing basically that these zombies are coming to hospital and that they won't make it out until the morning. So it kind of teases that your theory is right, where there's people there, the zombies are gonna start spreading because there's gonna be people actually, being infected out here because there's actual people. So that makes more sense there. But I was gonna say we do have this article to go over really quick.
Yeah, you
that came out yesterday. Yes, I think it's pretty interesting to go over because it does tease a little bit about a couple things coming to Warzone, really quick. So this is a article done by Brandon Snow, which I think is Blizzard's chief revenue officer.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
yeah, I saw something like that this morning when I woke up.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna skim over a couple things, points that he goes through. Basically, there's been some people in the community that, again, have found that this lead up to this event has been very dry so far. Obviously, we don't know where it's going to go. But basically, someone asked that, is Warzone going to be basically a place that can engage the larger, broader audience that can bring players together? And he says that we see Warzone as a large ecosystem that could engage players and continue for places people can gather, so that kind of teases the event. And he says here that what's coming to Warzone next remains to be announced, but he said Snow says that in the upcoming seasons things will feature cool new stuff that will be done in a Call of Duty way, and that in the upcoming seasons you're gonna see some of the Cold War themes, which he says offers tons of new opportunities for content, and that he says right now the only aspect of Cold War's theme is the operators and the weapons, but the overall theme of the decade has not made into the Warzone world just yet. So that kind of teases the theme of Cold War coming soon with the map. And he also says that, which again, this is the the unpopular thing that people are discussing right now. Only Warzone could do things that we have planned in the upcoming seasons. And he says that they do not view Fortnite as a competitor. We do not like Fortnite as a competitor. We're really focused on making the Warzone the best it can be. Only Warzone could do zombies the way we do them. Yeah. And that statement has a lot of people kind of under arms that they're kind of being a little cocky with that statement, which I think is pretty fair because, again, you might not view Fortnite as a competitor, but they're kind of the reason why you've made a lot of your, especially microtransaction decisions, and, with Warzone, obviously, you're definitely inspired by them. So I don't know why you would be like that and you're not a competitor, and especially with him saying that only Warzone could do zombies the way we do them, I would argue all you've done is put a shipwreck or boat into the map with a few zombies. And I don't know if you guys seen the current Fortnite event, but that thing was pretty fucking cool. It was like a campaign mission into Fortnite. I thought that was pretty dope. And it's kind of weird how they're trying to build up all this hype, saying how they can only do zombies the way that they do it. But, again, so far they've only barely touched the surface with this event. So I think they need to on their brakes. At least to me, I think they need to slow it down before they start saying stuff. So yeah, I don't know about you, Flamer.
I think what is interesting to note is how he worded the theme of the 80s is not seeing right now in Warzone, but it will happen. Like we know that with the new map that's coming. Like Infinity Ward is not gonna touch this map. Like Verdansk was their map. Now it's time for our map in the Ural Mountains. Like we know that, right? And with Turk taking the reins on that, I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of remastered maps from beforehand in this map, like with Blackout. But that's what people loved. It was a fan favorite mode, Battle Royale, in settings of old Black Ops maps. And I think we're gonna see that also now with WMD and Sue. But I also think we're gonna be seeing some new stuff reach the surface for future maps that are about to come. Like what Modern Warfare did with their 2v2 gunfight maps and their other big time maps is that they took parts of Verdansk and actually made those maps. Like like the mall, the shopping mall was one. Like when this map for Traer comes out, and this is why I think right now in Season 2 we only had one 6v6 map, is because they're gearing up for Season 2 Reloaded, where they're gonna be going all out with this event. Then when Season 3 hits the fan with Warzone, we're gonna be going into that, and then Season 3 Reloaded is gonna feature, yo, you guys love these Warzone maps? Here you go, guys, we don't forget you. Here you go, 6 new 6v6 maps, because we're all making them from this Warzone map. And I think that's what they're doing right now.
100%. Yeah. That definitely is a definite possibility, especially with new maps. They could just take the maps from Warzone and put them into 66. We've seen that before with Modern Warfare. They did that with Modern Warfare multiple times. They made Warzone locations into 66, which is a pretty smart idea for them. It saves resources.
Yeah.
I'm also excited to see what new, or not new, but what remade maps we get in Season 2 Reloaded, because again, there's a lot of rumors with Reloaded maps and what maps you can see in MP, and I think it'd be fun to see some more maps.
I hope we're going to see firing range.
But I've literally was just saying that. I want firing range. I love, people say we get that map every time, and we do, but it's just such a great map. I love playing like gun game on it and just core. I love firing. It's such a fun map.
I think
it is one of the rumored maps. So yeah.
I think also we're thinking of multiplayer maps, but also remember that these maps will be coming to Onslaught as well. And I do think that firing range will be a fantastic Onslaught map. Like, I think
it could be pretty fun.
I think that this could be the best Onslaught map, in my opinion, because they could do so much stuff with the orb. They can put it inside of the tower, and you have to do like a tower defense when every zombie tries to come and get you. I think that will be really fun. Or you just see a Megaton suddenly climb up the stairs, and you have to kill him before he gets up.
No. I bet they're just going to throw shit at you if you go to the tower.
It's like, get down from there!
That'd be pretty funny, but yeah, I agree. I think Firing Range is a very fun map. I love it, and I can't wait to see what maps they put into Season 2 Reloaded, which we're almost at the end of March almost. So
yeah, it's going fast this year. I gotta say,
we're going by quick. I mean, we should get this this update. I would say maybe next week or maybe the week after. One of the two.
I do think we're gonna see something next week. I think what's gonna happen is tomorrow we're gonna get a teaser like the ones beforehand with like Mike Field and Ray Gun. And that's gonna be the final teaser. It's gonna be inside of the hospital. That's where like I'm gonna be saying something controversial. Do you remember Exo Zombies, the first cutscene that was out?
I fucking hate the Atlas Corporation.
Indeed, that cutscene. Like we saw that there were a lot of people who were infected because of the source of it all. And being in a hospital, I think what we're going to be seeing is a report from inside of the hospital. Like the hospital preparing for stuff right now. Treating the patients who got infected. And then suddenly full out outbreak. Just out of the nowhere. Just everything is going to shit. And that's where this is going to start. Like then boom, Season 2 Reloaded starts right now. Prepare for the undead. missioner goes live this and this March 28th. Let's just say that, just for funs. And that's when everything is gonna click into place. Because we knew about the zombies, we do know about a leaked mode with the zombies. And then we're gonna be slowly going into some kind of, I guess, nuclear war, which somehow transforms us back to the 80s. So it will be really interesting to see that, how that works out. Like, what are they gonna do? They're probably gonna do something with the nukes. We 100% know that. But what is actually gonna happen that we teleport back in time? Like, is there gonna be a teleporter from Firebase somewhere around the map we're going through? We never know.
Yeah, very true. We'll have to see what happens. There's a lot of things, you know, that are supposed to be coming soon. So we also, I don't know when we're gonna get the next zombie map. It's kind of a mystery right now.
People are
Tomorrow.
saying April 15th.
Tomorrow.
What do you guys think of this date?
April 1st.
No, not
see,
April
it's kinda-
1st.
Dude, okay. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's really interesting what they're gonna do because with Firebase Z, right? We know they teased the map. I'm pretty sure
Berlin.
2 to 3 weeks before it came out.
Oh,
I
Outbreak
don't
you're talking
remember
about.
the first date. No. I'm talking about Firebase Z. I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Firebase Z.
That was
Yeah,
115 day.
Yeah, on
They teased
115
on
day.
115 day, right? But what didn't they do that? Or actually, I think it was 115 day, right? So they teased it about. Let's just see here. They teased it about. They teased about 2.5, 3 weeks before launch, right?
Yeah.
So we can assume that they're gonna follow the same pattern here. About 2.5, 3 weeks before launch.
Or
for teasing. So
They could do it Dead of the Night. Which I'm
I
also
don't think
thinking
do.
they
Never-
could
They
do.
never did. They could. No, it doesn't make any sense for them to do that. Especially with how they know that at least marketing a map at least somewhat helps more than anything else. It just gets their revenue up. It just gets their hype up for the community. I don't think they'll ever do it at night ever again because I think they learned from their mistakes and Treyarch is really good at that. So, but yeah, it could, but I don't know. I'd be shocked. But I think it's interesting to see when we could get this map, right? Because with the Warzone event, right? We know the fact that they're gonna push that Warzone event, and then after the Warzone map comes out, they're gonna push that Warzone map and the marketing for that through the roof. They were still talking about Verdansk months after Verdansk was even out. They want to market Warzone, so it's gonna be interesting to see when they put out the zombie map, right? Because if they put it out after season 3 launches, when will we get this map? Because we don't want to do it too close to Warzone's new map release, obviously, because that's a big marketing ploy for Activision is Warzone. So, are we gonna get it soon? But then again, if we get it soon, is that gonna screw up their marketing for the lead up to the map? But then if we get it after, wouldn't that mean we have to get it much after the actual map comes out? Because they're gonna be marketing that after. It's really weird how they're gonna do this content because they have to find a date that works,
I'm just thinking about something, right? If they're gonna do this with the whole DLC patterns, with the Easter eggs being locked for a day, right? They could actually release the Warzone map on the day with the DLC, since people could play Warzone for that day and then come back for the Easter egg.
I don't think so because remember, Flamer, Outbreak's supposed to get an Easter egg the day of, and I don't think they're gonna do an Outbreak.
No, that's
Easter
in
egg,
season.
then
That's
the
in season
Fire-
3. Yeah.
3, yeah. That's what I'm saying. They won't do that because the rumor is right now that Warzone new map is starting season 3, and the events can happen right at the end of season 2. So I doubt that's gonna happen just because there's no way they'd have an Outbreak Easter egg plus a regular map launch plus an Easter egg the day after while Warzone's going on. I think the most they'll do is the Outbreak Easter egg for Zombies fans and the Warzone map. I think that's enough for that week. That's why I don't see them doing a zombie map in that same week. Just wouldn't fit, right? They don't want to blow their load like that. They've been showing that with Outbreak, especially. They want to spread their content out. Or else they probably would have waited on Firebase to release for season 2. You know what I'm saying? So I think they want to spread out their content. So it's interesting. I mean, if we take a look at this, so just theoretically, if we get teasers starting, I don't know, tomorrow or Friday, we could see this map around April the 8th, right? We could see it around then, which could be a possibility. We don't know. Maybe around April 8th. I mean, that could be. It's gonna be weird because if they don't release it when Season 2 Reloaded comes out, when would they release it, right? Because like, would they just have one patch one day with no other content, just the zombie map alone, and it goes live? Like that'd be interesting to see what they do.
I mean, they could theoretically start the teasers tomorrow, because don't forget, there's something people forget. We did, like 2 weeks ago during COD Championship, got a code for Pawn Takes Pawn, which says the game has just begun. It's called Another Pawn Down.
I did not remember that. Okay, that's interesting.
Did you not?
Yeah, it's gonna. No, I don't remember that. Honestly, I don't. But I mean, that'd be interesting. I mean, I wonder what their thoughts are on this because, I don't know if to Treyarch it'd be too soon for something like that because we theoretically just got Outbreak. What? We got just Outbreak about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if now is too. It's gonna be real interesting because we either have one of the shortest times between maps ever, or we have a very long time between maps, which could be either way. I don't think it's going to be in between, obviously. It's going to be either... Because we just got Firebase about a month and a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So about almost and usually their time schedule usually is about 2 into 2.5 months.
2.5 months mostly. But don't forget,
2.5 months.
This is a different scenario we have right now, since we also know that Outbreak is gonna get an Easter egg. So what I am thinking is we might be seeing the Berlin map coming really soon, but I do think it's gonna be in Season 3, because we have to remember that Season 2 Reloaded is coming. Even if you look at the intel, Season 2 Part 1 it's called, and that is teasing about Berlin right now. The other ones were teasing about Outbreak, which was Season 1 Part 2. And then we got in Season 2 Part 1, we had Outbreak. So I do think we're going to be looking at some more intel coming soon to the game with Season 2 Reloaded. That's going to be talking more about Berlin, but it's also going to be talking about something else. And I do think that Warzone is going to be a big influential part of this.
Yeah, it's also interesting too because with the Outbreak Easter egg, that's all that's going to give us more info. So what if it does come after Season 3 launches? Because maybe the Outbreak Easter egg ties in directly with the teasing of Berlin again and what goes on.
What I was thinking with that is, what if the results of the Outbreak Easter egg, because it's in the Ural Mountains, is the reason how the Warzone characters get to where they are right now?
I mean, it could be. I mean, we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We don't really know what the Outbreak Easter egg entails. It's quite a mystery. But
we do know of the secret areas right now that are being found along the map, which are really interesting because there's a locked door in Golova, I think it was. There's a locked door in one of the buildings outside of the map, but you can glitch inside it, and there's like a little teddy bear on there. But that's it. That's all we know right now.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting because, with the next map, right? With the next map launch and all of that, we did have some rumors that some YouTubers were talking about when we could see the next zombie map, and they did say later in the Season 2 we could see another map, which is gonna be super interesting what they do. I'm really interested to see what happens because with Warzone getting its marketing right now and starting to ramp up, especially probably when Season 2 Reloaded drops, it's gonna be. It's a really weird time right now because we're kind of in this limbo period, just waiting for something to happen. We always usually get that time, but we're gonna see if it's gonna be a longer period or a shorter period. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm pretty interested in that. So
yeah. Chuse, any thoughts on this? What are your thoughts?
I disagree with both of you. Nah. So I think everyone shouldn't have that high of expectations right now because nothing is set in stone. We haven't been teased anything like that zombie percentage ain't going up in Warzone now because they don't know what they're going to do. They're just waiting to see what gets done first, and then because we don't even know when the next zombies map is coming out. We got teased we got teased Firebase at 115 day because that's a special event. I wouldn't say that's going to be a reoccurring thing. I think that was just a one-time thing because it's it's 115 day. So we might not even be getting a zombies map until mid-season, season 3.
Yeah, which would be a long while. I think that'd be what? That'd be like what? If it okay, so we know the season
That
goes
will
April
be
22nd.
like 1.5
That
months.
would be almost June. I don't know if they do that because that'd be a long time. Because usually we see the reloaded versions of the seasons about 4 weeks after the season's launch. So if we go off of that, 22nd, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'd see the map around May 20th, which would be very long. That's over 3.5 months of period
That
time, which
is
waiting
an
period.
interesting one.
That is
I just
that is a long time.
I just got somebody in my chat, the Digital Joe, just said to me, we will probably get teased at the end of the Warzone event about the new map.
Maybe.
Yeah, about that though, I just want everyone to know that Verdansk is Modern Warfare based, and we're gonna need to see a sum up of what happens to the Modern Warfare characters at the end of that. It's not all gonna be about Cold War. We're gonna have to see, like, Soap's gonna come in, and we're gonna say, okay, well, Sakayev had someone working with him in, I don't know, Switzerland. They're gonna go to Switzerland. They have to say something about, Switzerland. It was just the first place that came to mind. But they have to do something. They have to tie out Modern Warfare somehow, because they're going to be going into their second game, and we need to know what happens to the crew, like Task Force 141. They can't just, or they can just reappear somewhere without knowing what's happening, but they're not going to do that. They're going to want to tie off their characters.
I was gonna say that we're probably gonna see them in the new map, right? Because why wouldn't they? It's like still Modern Warfare, so like they have to explain how the Task Force 141 characters are gonna be into this 80s, like, and we can assume that the map's gonna be in the 80s. So how is they gonna explain those characters in the 80s now? It's gonna be, I mean, or maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll have to see. But they can't just like, I don't know. They gotta explain something, right? They gotta tie up something before we can move on.
How are Black Ops characters from the 80s in 2020?
True, but then again, it's weird.
How the hell did Woods get back there?
It's so weird, right? Because they try to make Warzone canon to the story with Modern Warfare, explaining everything with the story, but then they have all these things that just don't make any sense. It's like, how do you want me to like expect this to be canon, but then like, how do you explain Woods in there? It's like what is going? It's really weird. We'll have to see. It's super weird with Warzone and how they tie everything up.
Yeah.
It's weird for sure. It's weird.
Yeah, everyone needs to keep in mind that gameplay comes first. Story is always written after the map is made, after the new Warzone event. They're going to create the story around that, but they're going to keep in mind like what is going to happen to Task Force 141. But gameplay is always going to come first.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you're right on that. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I think because it's gonna be. I don't know what exactly they're gonna do, if they're gonna tie in zombies with Warzone for the new map, because it seems like that they kind of want to make Outbreak this connective tissue with Warzone, obviously with the fire team maps and just all that. So I don't know if they would make her linked. It's super weird because it's like we know everything's connected, but how much they connect things is a mystery. We don't really know how much they want to connect things so far with the story, because it's kind of like Zombies, yes, is connected, but it kind of feels like it has its own separate story going on right now. Obviously with Valentina and the story with that, with the Nazis and everything teasing up to that, right? As Flamer knows from the intel, that all that's building up, right? So we want to learn more about that and Samantha and what's going on and everything with Berlin. And I don't know if they want to tie that in with Warzone right now, because they're kind of trying to flesh out their story. And I feel like Zombies really wants to flesh their story out right now because they need to start picking things up, you know? Eventually when they do, at least.
Yeah, I just hope they do it right. I don't want Task Force 141 going to the 80s. I'm fine with the Euro Mountains from the 80s going to 2020 because we've had that before. We've had Black Ops characters like Alpha and Omega. Our crew teleported to 2025, I think. We've always had Black Ops as a bit more crazy. Modern Warfare, I don't want any sci-fi, time travel and shit. It's just going to ruin the feeling of Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I get that. I get that 100%.
Yeah, I get that too. Again, I that's one like again as someone that's biased towards Black Ops style like storytelling. Again, I could see them doing a lot of crazy things, and I think this is where it feels like they've already gave Raven and Trek the realms of Warzone. It feels like with the passing of the torch and obviously the zombies, it already starts to feel like Trek are taking over the mold of Warzone. So I think they could do something batshit crazy for this event. Like, I don't know how they're gonna make it so the Real Mountains event map is in play here, because we remember the teaser we got before seems like this is gonna be the it seems like something with time travel is going on or something, because this seems like it's an older map, right? It's not gonna be like right now because obviously Fireteam maps take place in the 80s, right? And obviously they're gonna build up to make this map. So I feel like whatever happens, it has to be something batshit crazy. If they time travel back to the 80s somehow, or again, wild theory. I know we just went over this. I had this theory the other day where I was talking with some of the friends that I had a theory, right? The Dark Aether, right? We don't really know what the Dark Aether truly can do. We have glimpses at it, but we don't really know, because obviously we've seen the Dark Aether can bring back enemies, bring back bosses, different things, and I was assuming something quite interesting. We know that the Dark Aether obviously can change the world around you, but what if it could literally bring back areas that it has consumed? That's something that I was thinking about. I was thinking something like that, or something where maybe that's in the future how we get some certain areas back or certain maps back. And what I thought is, if that's the case, what if the Dark Aether has to do something with how the Euro Mountains map gets put into current times, which is in Modern Warfare? That could be something if they don't want to do the time travel. What if the Dark Aether has a responsibility of bringing this old map back, or not old map back, but old as in the 80s into current day?
You know how Woods is like, what the fuck are we doing in Miami? Yeah. I don't want next when the new map comes out, we're just gonna see Ghost to be like, what the fuck are we doing in the Euro Mountains?
A great way to finish off the trailer.
Are you saying you don't want the Modern Warfare characters at all in the new?
Oh no, I would love to see a crossover between Modern Warfare characters like Task Force 141 and Woods and Adler and Mason. That would be amazing. But
yeah,
they got to keep their spotlight. So you can't have. I'm going to use this as an example. You can't have all of the Justice League in the Flash. You could have someone from the Justice League, but then it's not a crossover. That's just like them taking over the episode. You might as well just watch Justice League.
Yeah.
So having like, this is my CI from Task Force 141, Captain Price. You can have him. That's fine. He's helping you with a mission. You can't have everyone because it's just too much.
It's especially with we can see that Price is definitely have something to do with this event, and something that he's probably gonna be a role in there. So yeah, I agree. Probably have to see Price, and then we'll see what happens from there, because they definitely want to convert this into more of a Cold War feeling with this next map, which is gonna be interesting to see how it's kind of is almost like a switch in. We've never really seen this before, where the whole entire game kind of feels different because of level design and how games feel, right? When we get a Call of Duty one year, say, I don't know, just compare Black Ops 3, right? Or Black Ops 4, sorry. Black Ops 4, their maps are kind of, 3-lane, very chaotic, or very, Treyarch feeling. Then you go to Modern Warfare, right? And they're a lot different. So it's like the level design is going to feel it's going to feel interesting that we're going to be playing Modern Warfare, but with a completely different level design to what it was supposed to be like, and what the gameplay itself was going to complement the level design. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any last thoughts about that topic, and we can move on.
One thing I could see them doing actually with this whole Euro Mountain thing is, what if they start off the thing with maybe Verdansk blowing up. They're stuck in a bunker, right? Like, what the fuck do we now? And then suddenly a portal opens up behind them. And then it's gonna be somebody from Adler or Requiem stepping out, saying, "We need your guys' help to change the future," or something like that. And that's when Task Force could agree to go with them to the Ural Mountains to change the future, that there were no zombies anymore in Verdansk, so that everything is back to where it was, that it was before Verdansk got nuked.
That does sound cool, and I get that you would like to see that, but I kind of went over this earlier. I don't want like a portal opening up next to Task Force 141 because it's not their area. I don't want a big fucking portal in a.
There kind of was chemical and electrical warfare in Modern Warfare, which they were working on. We know that, since there are a few buildings inside Verdansk that actually showed that they've been working on portals.
Okay, but pieces of paper around the map is different to Price holding a ray gun. Well, that's a good render idea. That's going off topic. Anyway.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But imagine this, right? Is that the whole of Verdansk is fucked. They don't know what to do. The zombies were the source of everything, and now they have to go back to stop the what's the name ship, the Vodianoi, from sailing away with Adler, because that's where the zombies come from, right? From the Vodianoi.
You know that boat is broken in half, right?
Yeah, because
it ain't sailing anywhere.
it was sailing for, what was it, like 40 years, 50 years on the sea?
Yeah, like 30 years.
Yeah, and then it's suddenly stranded with the zombies on board, and that released the fucking zombies. So I think we're gonna be seeing, when the thing gets nuked, they're gonna be stuck in the bunkers. They're trying to fight their way out, and there's gonna be something happening, like a time blast or something. Like, we could see anything happen since they're going into the Black Ops timeline, but that, if we're thinking about it, could also open up the possibility, because we know they want to continue Warzone with the next Call of Duty, right? With sledgehammers. For sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know if it is going to be sledgehammers yet.
Kinda. But anyway, we could be seeing that they go from that region to the other region. They could do it, that they could send the Modern Warfare characters back, and then have the Black Ops characters go to Sledgehammer's games, and then go back in Sledgehammer's games, and vice versa, so they can keep going with the cycle. And then what they could do is, they could let you choose the map you want to play. If you want to play Verdansk, go play Verdansk. If you want to play the Ural Mountains, go play the Ural Mountains. If you want to play the new one from Sledgehammer, go play that one. So that it could give people more maps to choose from, so that it fits the era.
Do you think in like a year's time, Activision are going to sell the new hard drive to store all your Warzone files for all 3 maps?
Please, please no. It's gonna be the
They might
free.
have to.
It's
They
gonna
might
be.
have
It's
to.
gonna be the $60 PS5 upgrade.
Dude,
2
I don't understand
terabyte
how-
space for only 3 maps.
Pay 60
Dude,
bucks
dude.
and you only have 20 gigabytes on your drive for Warzone.
You see,
Oh my God.
that's an interesting thing though to think about because obviously, all right, so we're gonna have Verdansk, Euro Mountains, and let's say I don't know Times Square for Sledgehammer. That's
Yeah.
gonna be not only a massive file size, but then you're also gonna have Modern Warfare weapons, Cold War weapons, and Sledgehammer weapons. There's gonna be way too much, so they're gonna
Now,
have to probably take away.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Do you think they're gonna take away the Modern Warfare weapons eventually because of their the older weapon cycle, and they're gonna kind of make it so
that's
they only
hard
keep
to say.
2 weapon cycles into play?
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
I think they
'Cause-
have to, right? Because what is gonna, and that's what, and obviously we've heard that they don't have plans to bring back Verdansk anytime soon. So if that's the case, then it kind of makes sense, right? Where they maybe eventually, when Sledgehammer's game comes out and they put the guns in from that game, and they take out the Modern Warfare guns, because then it really wouldn't make sense. We're in a Ural Mountains map with Modern Warfare guns, and then we get to the Sledgehammer game where it's World War II, and we somehow have modern guns in a World War II setting map, so it would feel kind of weird. So they probably
Well,
won't do that.
we are gonna have Modern
True, yeah, I
Warfare
know,
weapons
I know.
in
Yeah.
Euro Mountains.
right. Yeah, I'm saying more of that. Eventually, as we get into a weirder zone, they're gonna probably have to. slowly
Yeah,
take out
so
weapons.
the way they're
Yeah.
probably gonna do it is that Modern Warfare is still being supported right now by Infinity Ward, and when Sledgehammer's game starts to come out, and when that's gonna get what's the word, like combined with Warzone,
Yeah.
I think they might just have Verdansk a playable mode on Modern Warfare, not
Yeah.
on Warzone. They could do that, and then so on with Treyarch, Euro Mountains on Cold War, and then they could keep doing that because Warzone's probably going to be a thing for many years,
Oh yeah.
and
It's
they're
the
not going to
future of
have
COD.
6 maps. Like in 5 years' time, your Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, 7 terabytes large. Like you can't do that. But then you also can't delete content. You can't make Verdansk unplayable anymore.
So
You know?
it is really interesting what they're also going to be doing with Cold War, since if you boot up Cold War or or MW, you get the choice to play Cold War, or if you go to the right side, you get to play Modern Warfare, and in the middle, Warzone. So because Modern Warfare is not on the PS5 version, they're not going to be on the next gen version. Let's be honest with that, right? Is that they're gonna have to eventually move away from that, and that's gonna take part for another. Like, I still find it really stupid that Warzone is still not on the PS5 version of Cold War.
Well, that's because the ultra quality texture packs have been added, so it's basically supported for PS5. You're going to be running Warzone in 4K 60 with 4K textures and
Yeah,
everything.
no, but I would like to just boot it up from the menu and not just go into a separate game like with Modern Warfare, you know?
You mean you would rather go on Cold War and play Warzone? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like instead of just going to Warzone itself or go to Black Ops Cold War. Oh, I want to play Warzone. I click on Warzone in the menu itself, and then it's gonna take a while to load, and then it's going to the PS4 version.
Yeah. So a while ago, Activision said they learned a lot about. Keep forgetting the word. The word they used to combining the maps, like
Data.
Warzone. Huh?
I know what you mean. They're combining data from both maps.
No, it's another word for combining, like intervening or something like that. I can't remember what they use. But then they said they learned a lot about that, and then it's gonna probably be much more seamless in the new game, or maybe Cold War. So, like, you know how we go into the anomaly on Outbreak, and then you have a loading screen while you're teleporting. You could have a Ural Mountains button on Cold War, And while you have a loading screen on, it's just loading files from Warzone. Because don't forget, this is all new generation hardware, and that could be capable of doing that.
Mhm.
Obviously, PS4, I get if you have to close the game, open the new game, but new generation, you don't know.
Indeed.
All right. So with that, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I just remembered. Two last things, but quickly I'll go over them really fast. So the last part of the article states that the chief officer says that some reporter asked him, in the future, is Call of Duty ever thinking about switching to games as a service model? So basically, go away from the yearly cycle. And basically, the guy says, we haven't been convinced about that so far, but it is something we're looking to. So they are not convinced about that yet. But I think that it seems like they're thinking about it. So we're probably not going to get that anytime soon. But with that, they also teased that Warzone is going to come to COD Esports as well very, very soon. Within the next month or so, they're going to have information on that. So we'll see what that has to detail. But something I wanted to ask you guys with that statement. Do you think in the future we could get a Call of Duty without a multiplayer?
Yes.
We will definitely get a multiplayer always.
I think multiplayer will always
think
be
it should
there,
go-
but I do think we might be looking at certain separate modes, like zombies, campaign. I think it will be fantastic to have a campaign-only Call of Duty game like Modern Warfare 2.
Yes, that is kind of what I was going to say too. Exactly. I think that is something where if you want to count that as its own Call of Duty, I think we're 100% get a game without a multiplayer, because it seems like if they eventually do go games as a service, which I think that's going to have to eventually happen. That's what gaming is basically coming to now. There's very little games that release every single year, always with the same modes every single year, just changed up.
FIFA.
Like, it's really not happening as much anymore. But what I was going to say. But that's the different kind. I'm saying like the older, like, the games that come out like Assassin's Creed, the Battlefields, all those the games that came out very often are starting to take more time to make as they create a more full experience. And I think Call of Duty is going to eventually have to do that, right? But maybe not for. I'm saying this could be in 5 to 10 years from now that we don't see this, but I think eventually it's going to happen. And we do know, obviously, about the rumor of the zombies-only Call of Duty, which would kind of make my point already prove that we will be getting a Call of Duty without multiplayer. But what I'm saying more is that I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because if they are implementing esports into Warzone, that kind of, in a way, with the past 2 Call of Duties, there's been a kind of trend where everyone, especially the people that only play multiplayer, I felt really left out of content. That they don't have a lot of content, that things are really stale. For God's sake, we haven't gotten actual gun buffer nerf in Cold War since December the 10th. The 10th of December, we haven't gotten any sort of buff, nerf, change, nothing. That is not great, because I don't think we should be going 4 months without any sort of gun change or nerf or buff or anything. I don't know how COD multiplayer is going to go from now on. If 1, they don't change skill-based matchmaking, which I don't think is going to happen, and 2, they keep putting more attention onto Warzone, less attention onto, and especially with zombies, seeming like it's going to have a lot more focus too with its own game. What's going to happen to multiplayer? I really wonder what that's going to happen. I mean, we're obviously probably going to have multiplayer, but it's going to be interesting what they do with it. At least I don't know if multiplayer is slowly going to become even worse, or if it's going to get better. We're going to have to see.
Yeah, you always need to keep in mind about what these studios and Activision are gonna do, because obviously we want our own zombies game. We'd love our own zombies game, but we're not gonna have like Treyarch. They're not gonna be doing COD 2022 anymore, because they're just gonna be working on the zombies game. That's not really gonna happen. They could make it so Call of Duty Zombies, or whatever the game's gonna be called, it could be a free. I don't mean free, but like it could be a standalone thing where any developer can work on it. So that way they can work on their own games, like Modern Warfare 2.
Right? So they wouldn't have to make it'd be like BR right now, where they don't have to make a BR. They wouldn't have to make a zombies. No studio would ever have to worry about making a zombies because they would just use the content they made for their game and implement it into the zombies, kind of like how they're doing with Warzone. Same thing, which could make sense. It would probably save a lot of time.
Yeah, it will save a lot of time having to tie in with time eras and characters. Because if there was a zombie only game, we could be still playing as premise right now, and not the like campaign operators. And then maybe down like when a new game comes out, like Modern Warfare 2, you get the Modern Warfare crew in the zombies game. Not canon, maybe. It doesn't have to be canon, but it's just there, cosmetic. That way, it would just easy everything up.
Maybe it is operators though, because then what if they just want to continue with operate? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that, because that's probably then again that zombies game is probably not coming out for at least, I would assume 2 years. 2 years, I would say. I don't like, because it seems like it's in early development, so I would say probably it's not something until probably like we might hear something at the end of COD 2021's life cycle. Maybe, but that's a maybe. We don't even know if that's gonna happen.
I think we might be hearing soon about it though, since I think is that we have to think that Cold War as well was made in a year. They're already working on it. They're in early development, but they do know what they're doing already. They have a story probably written for it already, and they can start development on it right now. And maybe they might shelve it. So if COD 2021 doesn't do as well as they think, they could release that.
I don't know, Flynn. I think you're giving them too much praise on that for it. I don't know if they're like that, because I think you're underestimating how much it really would take to make that kind of game. It's not something where it's like I don't think they could be like, okay, yeah, we're going full development mode in the zombie game, and they can do it in under a year. I feel like this is gonna be something where it takes them a little bit to do, because I'm pretty sure Warzone was being worked on all the way back in like especially Modern Warfare with some of the things that they were doing all the way back in 2016. So I really think that this won't be something that they can just release in a year. I think, especially with Cold War zombies, I feel like they're gonna slowly keep pushing Cold War zombies and market it. I don't know if they would quickly go to this zombies only game if they're only starting on their development right now.
Okay,
but we'll see.
I think if there was anything of the standalone zombies game in the works, I think it was put on pause during Cold War's development and COVID. So that may be starting up around this time, maybe later in the season cycle. But I think there's just not been much work on it right now. But
also, I wonder who's making it, right? Because like we would assume that at least my theory is that it's not Treyarch. I don't think Treyarch's making this game. I don't like with the zombie game, because at least not right now putting all their manpower into it, because it seems like they have been working on Cold War content, especially with the pandemic, right? They really have to hone in on making this content and finishing it up, because they are in a different environment. So I don't know how much time that they would have to do it. I don't know. Maybe it's Sledgehammer. Who knows? We'll see.
Oh, don't forget. Jesus, voice crack. The Call of Duty franchise has more. Oh, bloody hell! Didn't mean to do that. Has more studios than Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Raven, because I think there's High Moon Studios and
Beanox,
Shanghai.
There's a lot that help with it. There's a lot of companies that work on the games. It took them like 8 to 10 developers, like studios. That's why I don't really want to give Treyarch the leeway, or any one studio a leeway to make a zombie game and just instantly have that done in a year or so. I don't really want to assume that they can do that.
Yeah, what they're doing right now, like to make a game like, let's say, Modern Warfare 2, what takes the most time is making a new engine, making everything seamless. But for a standalone zombies game, it's not going to be priority. So they could literally reuse the Cold War engine. A different studio could do this, like High Moon or Beanox, can do this by themselves, because they don't need to make a new engine, and then they can work on that. They can make maps, like, or bring back maps, remaster maps, they can work on that independently
Yeah.
without involving the big studios for now, just while it's starting off, while the game is
Yeah.
developing. But then bring in Treyarch and stuff for a DLC, and then Treyarch can obviously get paid for the DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we go off the timeline of when, so let's see, let's just go off brief timeline real quick. So if we can assume right now that Sledgehammer is making this year's Call of Duty, it seems like, so with Cold War, right? I'm not sure when did Treyarch start working on Cold War? When was it again? May of what? 2018? Was it May of 2018?
No,
I think,
it
around
was
there?
already in 20. They started in 2019. We knew about the reports that they were making next year's Call of
Oh
Duty.
yeah, you're right, because it was during the
Sledgehammer's
DLC.
first.
So yeah.
So
it was May of
early in
2020.
We
DLC
heard
that when
that-
their budget got cut.
We heard that during DLC 2, I think, right? Wasn't it? It was at the end
it would have
of
had to been
Ancient
after.
Evil
Mm,
that these reports
No,
came in.
no, it would have been the time DLC 2 was coming out, because Ancient Evil didn't get a director's cut trailer. That's when they stopped working on Black Ops 4, basically.
Yeah.
But still good
So
CGI
if that's
trailer.
the case, right? If that's the case, right? So if we can assume that at that point is when Treyarch was put on the project, Sledgehammer was separated from that project and started working on COD 2021. So if they started working on that in 2019, because again, they basically have to be really going grind mode on that. It would take them about 2.5 years to make this game, probably like 2 years, I would say, for them to really pump out the game if it comes out by the end of this year. So if that's the case, right? We can maybe we can follow the same formula with the zombie game, right? Because they'd be working on this new project, and especially if it's a side studio, they'd be working on this project, a studio that's not as big as Treyarch or Infinity Ward. So we could assume that it's probably going to take the same amount of time from right now, when it seems like they're working on this project, which was about a month ago. So again, I would say maybe a year and a half, 2 years, maybe we'll see this game. This game, we'll have to see though. I'm interested in see what it is. Hopefully, if it does go through, that is.
All right. Let's go
So,
over to the next
we can
one.
Go on, yeah. Let's go on to the next topic.
We've
spent a lot of
legit
time
been
on that,
talking
but,
almost 1.5
yeah.
hours about this, so
yeah.
Oh,
we had a lot to talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, go on to the next topic. Let's go.
The next topic is, well, the final one as well, because we basically did DLC 2 during the Warzone bit, is about renders. So chuse. You make renders, and I am really excited always when I see you making renders, and you also can see right now down here on the screen. You can see that Chuse made some lovely renders in 4K. That's why we are a bit laggy, right? Or was it 16K? Chuse? Chuse!
Choose die.
I think
Yeah,
Chuse-
sorry.
Oh.
I was talking to someone.
Oh, okay. It's like, Chuse?
That was
Hello?
terrible timing. Yeah, I make renders. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I've recently gotten into renders because I like what comes with them. Like, you'll never see Captain Price with a ray gun. I like seeing stuff that we want to happen, but will never happen. That's what renderers can do, and also people who do animation as well. I might start looking into animation and maybe mod tools to see what I can do there. But renders is where I'm at right now, and obviously, if you see right now, I have, Adler with a Ray K and Samantha. You'll never see them two in a cutscene together, really, or canon one, unlike Firebase. But it's just, there's so many possibilities on what you can do, and everyone loves to see them. And something that kind of like no one really sees is that a lot of renderers are independent. I'm different to Rizzo or Chromastone because we all do it differently. I like the impossible aspect where people can see, like I said, a ray gun for a campaign character. But some people might go for a story, so seeing Woods and Mason in a bar. And I just like to see what I can do with different possibilities.
That is really interesting, because if you're saying about the impossible, are you talking about T-posing order?
Yeah, that's something you definitely never see in zombies, unless your game is bugged out.
I love that render so much. I asked him, yo, can you make me a T-posing order? Yeah, sure, here you go. You're like, perfect! Like, you also are commissioning, right?
I am. I haven't really been doing much for it because, school just started coming out of lockdown and actually have to go to school again. But yeah, in my free time, I'm doing commissions.
Yeah, so if you guys ever need stuff done for your thumbnails and everything, you can always hit up Chuse. I put his links down below in the comments, in the description as well. It's his DeviantArt and also his YouTube and Twitter, if I'm right. So you can always hit him up there with some Pogger ideas. One thing though, he does have to have the game to run it. He can do some Cold War stuff, but he will be able to do some IW stuff soon. So just know that if you need to have a render from a certain game, make sure that he has that game. So don't be disappointed.
Unless they want to buy it for me, that is fine by me. They can happily buy the game for me.
There's always Steam Share.
Yes, always Steam Share.
Indeed. But yeah, it's always really interesting to see how this render process goes, since you're basically going inside of the game files and extracting a lot of files, right?
Yeah, something else I like doing is, I can do woods. Anyone can do woods. But I've done recently a woods that hasn't been released yet, which is, people are going to be interested to see that. It was a Prisoner of War woods, where I think it's like supposed to be the same skin from the end of the Black Ops 2. No, the beginning of the Black Ops 2 campaign when he's
Pyrrhic Victory
captured. Yeah, when getting released from captivity. Because everyone's going to like to see that because it's new.
Mm-hmm. And I was really interested when I saw this, because the first thing I was like, yo, is that Woods from Black Ops 2? And you even were there. We also had some fun with the hair, because hair physics are not the best in renders. But if you just look at it, it looks clean. Like, the render itself is clean, and then he just got a background from Cold War itself. And it looks awesome. It looks like it fits in. And there are more stuff you can do with it. Like, there's one with... You can even render cars. Like, Chuse made a car render with Samantha in Woods because I asked him for Outbreak. And it might look weird. But I think this picture looks really good for a render itself. Like, the way the car is deposited on the grass itself. And you see Samantha and Woods just hanging out, shooting. Like, I think it's really impressive what renders can do. Like, people who can actually render
this one
are awesome.
This one in particular was kind of rushed. I had to do this one quick, so the lighting isn't the best. Because that's what makes it believable, lighting. Like, if you go to the one I did on Firebase, the lighting matches. The character's skin is orange. And that's what makes everyone a bit more unique. Everyone has their different lighting techniques. And I'm hoping that my lighting technique is nice and, appealing to look at.
Yeah. Because I do think that there is some great stuff on this DeviantArt. You can check it down below. And the stuff that you make is really interesting because you don't see it from anybody else. Like, everybody can make a Samantha Maxis model with the purple eyes, but you put some extra flair on it with, like, the purple hands and the pose she takes. And I thought that was really interesting, and I still use that render to this day for some of my thumbnails because it's just really awesome itself, the render, but it's also different than what everybody else uses. Because everybody's using Samantha with a ray gun or a ray K, and that's it. But you don't have one that's just floating like on Moon, holding her hands out with purple fire in her arm. Like, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I like what I've been doing so far with I've mainly been focusing on Cold War and people from Cold War, so the main crew like Woods, Adler, and then there's not really anyone specific to zombies right now. Like we have Samantha, but that's about it. People like Weaver, they're not in the game right now, so I can't do them. I can't do Monty, Max, like the original Maxis, Ludwig Maxis. He's not in the game, so there's definitely barriers on what you can do.
Yeah.
Like even Reagan, Ronald Reagan, he's not in the game.
Could I ask you that, Chuse? How does that exactly work? Like, right, with, so if something's not in the game, right, you can't do a render off of it. So, I don't know if you would know, but do you know how someone would be able to make a render of those characters?
He actually
Yes
did.
and no.
He actually did one with, I think, Sakaev, right?
Yeah. Zakayev is an interesting one because, funny enough, out of all the people who mod and look through the game files, no one has managed to find Zakayev's body, only his head. So everyone likes to cut corners when doing, working or whatever. So I cut a few corners on this. That's actually just Adler's body, but a different shirt. I just put Zakayev's head on it, and it looks believable.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, can I ask you something then? I've seen a few renders of specifically Weaver, and I don't know how they did that. Do you know how someone would do that?
I think I know what you're talking about. A fellow renderer known as Lucas Weiss, or the Weiss Squad, he took some time to work on a Weaver render. Now, Weaver's not in the game, so you can't use this model. He has been doing this for a very long time, I think about 6 years.
Wow.
And he knows a lot more. He knows about... He could make his own character from scratch, just modeling and texturing and all that. But what he did, he went off the Weaver from Blackout, and then he sort of manipulated it into the Cold War era, so the shirt, the different eye patch, the different hair. It's just using what you have. It's sort of a way of reusing assets. That's how renderers reuse assets.
That's interesting. That's very creative. Very creative.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, I love creativity in this because you can always copy someone. I could copy Rizzo, I could copy Lucas Weiss, but then why? Why would someone prefer me over them then? Because I'm just copying their content.
Yeah.
And then, if I did the same lighting technique, it would just look like their work, but shitter.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, why would you go to you when you could, like, because it's kind of like how, why would I go to the second best place to go buy a cheeseburger if the one that is just as good, or actually sorry, if the one is way better, if there's one that's way better and right, it's very accessible to get. So why would I get the one that's worse? It's like, why would you go for that when you can get something maybe like, okay, well, why won't I get a pizza then? If I want a pizza that day, or if I want something different that day, I have that option to go get it. If I don't want a cheeseburger, it's kind of like, I know you're gonna make jokes about that analogy, but I don't care. And but yeah, that's kind of a comparison.
Something I always try to look out for is what other people have been posting. I know everyone posted Samantha, so you have to go unique with Samantha. But let's say like I made a new render of, I don't know, Nikolai. I don't want anyone to go, oh, that reminds me of Rezo's render of Nikolai. So you need to know what other people are doing. So instead of saying, oh, that looks like Rezo's Nikolai render, they can go, oh my god, that looks so cool. I've never seen that before. It's clickbait,
Yeah.
but on a new level.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, Choose, I actually have a question for you. Um, so, of
Shoot.
course, you post your stuff publicly online, right?
Yeah,
Like
most of
the,
it.
the picture you have right now on screen with ZKF. Like, somebody could just go to your DeviantArt, download it, and make it a thumbnail. They could search up ZKF, Stitch, and suddenly, boom, first picture on Google, that is this. And they download it and use it for thumbnails without your permission. How do you feel about this if this would happen?
Um, I kind of more laugh at it that they couldn't get their own render or like get permission
Yeah.
for their own render. I kind of laugh at the fact that they couldn't do that because like anyone can. Like the ones I post on my DeviantArt, I allow anyone to use as long as they give credit because I like credit.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I make something custom for someone, which I've done before, which I did for Zombies for Charity, I did a custom skin
Yeah.
for Zombies for Charity. I don't want anyone reposting that, but I did that for free because it's a charity event.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not mine to give away, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I actually don't like it. You can actually report thumbnails for stolen content, but you don't always have to. Like, if you use this render of Stitch and Zakiya, then I'm not going to report it and try and get your video taken down. But still, it's just everyone needs to be formal about it and give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I do
Yeah,
agree
and
with that.
yeah.
But like, I'm just gonna give an example of stuff that happened. Last week I was streaming, and I was just in a shitty mood, and I was just shit posting all the time. And I was searching for a picture of Tombstone Zoda. So I search up Tombstone Zoda, Cold War, and the first thing I come is just this ArtStation. And I think, oh yeah, ArtStation is mostly where like renders get posted by developers, right? That's what ArtStation is for, to show off their concept for certain stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna use this, use that. And Clarky retweeted my stream, and apparently the model was from Hypes, and he actually messaged me about it, about credits. And I was really confused. I was like, oh shit, okay, let me just get a new one. But it is just weird, in my opinion, how you can just find stuff on Google. And you basically every single time need to search if you need to give permission or not, even though it's on Google. What do you think of that?
Everyone is different about their requirements. I do kind of find things like that a bit scummy because if it's a render of like just Tombstone and you're saying, hey, I want credit for that, but like,
Yeah.
do you though? Because first of all, that perk machine isn't yours, it's from the game. You need to give credit to the game more than you because you ain't done anything to it, you know?
Yeah, you've done nothing special with it. It's just taking an asset and just making it so people can use it. It's not like you're changing that asset in any sort of way. It's not like you're making your own or using characters and creating a new scene or something like that. It's not that. Like, you're basically just taking the model and just putting it up. So, like, why can't anyone use that?
Yeah, that's because, like, obviously I can make this render for Stitch and Zakiya because I'm not making any profit for it. Like, if you see right here, this was a in the works design for a shirt, but I can't do that because I don't have the rights for that model or these models.
Yeah.
So I can't sell it. I can't make a profit of it. Selling it for like a thumbnail is different though, because that's letting them show off the game. They're not saying these characters are them. They're showing off the characters from that game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how all that works with what you can and cannot use. It's quite a fine line you have to cross and make sure you don't cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, dude, your work is incredible compared to just how different it is and how unique it is. It's really something I've noticed because it's not the same as everyone else's. If you guys didn't know, I do make thumbnails from time to time for people. And Chuse is a big credit to him for all the renders that he allows me to use for others to make sure that they get quality thumbnails out. He does an incredible job, and I wouldn't be able to make a lot of the stuff that I do without his.
Yeah, same here.
Without his work. So everyone, make sure to check Chuse out. He is incredible with what he does, and if you need anything from him, let him know, and maybe he can work something out with you.
Yeah, something I just want to quickly mention.
Yeah.
That no, there's different types of content creators, and obviously I'm a renderer. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know quite a few renderers, and we're all nice to each other. We all like what each other do. We'll compare what I've done to someone else, and we say, "Hey, you did a nice job. Well done for that." Because obviously we would know what it takes to do what they've done, and so it's good to have a friendly relationship like that. But obviously, if it's YouTube, making YouTube videos, it's not as friendly because I'm gonna go watch COD Zombies HQ and I'm gonna steal what he said in his video and use it in mine. That's how YouTubers can act. This is kind of different because we're friendly to each other.
I wish there's another community that's kind of different from that, because one community I know in the past had a lot of problems with sharing assets and being similar with each other and copying things. Is the custom zombies community. I wish they were as friendly as it seems like the render community is. I wish they were as friendly with that, because again, it's kind of the same thing where you're using assets in a certain way, and you don't want to make someone's map look exactly like yours or have things exactly as yours, and you're always like interfering, and it's been a huge mess with that. But I'm happy to see that at least one part of the little community, you could say, a little part of it can really agree with each other and help each other out. I think that's great.
Yeah, you'll notice that a lot of renderers are friends with a lot of custom zombie map makers and modders, because it's in some areas it's the same thing. Right now, rendering is a key aspect of that is lighting, which a map maker will also need to know and be good at.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of areas where
it's similar.
We could work together. I could work together with making this, like, see the shot of woods. I could use this shot and then extract the model, and then you could put it into a custom map, like the actual model of him shooting someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of room for different things you could do there.
100%. I think it's really great that you could get really a lot of work done with that, and I think it's incredible with really, I never really went into more of that kind of how renders do what they do, and it's really interesting to see how a little bit of a sneak peek at what they can do, because it's really interesting, because it takes a new form of something that we've never seen before and creates something really unique out of it. And
So yeah. Anything to say more about renders, or was that it? What you could say about it?
I just want to say I like what I do. For me, I didn't really have like when I started doing them, I didn't really have anyone to teach me what I was doing. So it kind of makes it more, more rewardable that way.
Yeah.
Because I've done everything myself. I taught everything myself. I've obviously had help from other people when they couldn't do something. I'll ask someone something, they'll hopefully help me out. But I just like that I built up to what I did by myself.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's great. And also, again, I mean, you've done so much for us, dude, and all the friends that we have within the Z-Lads, and even if you guys didn't know, he's the one that actually made or helped a lot about the the background for our podcast. He helped a lot with that. So
yeah, indeed. What you're seeing right here
more about
is what I said in the first episode, is that Chuse actually went into the game, got us this footage of the wall right here with the stairs, with the Ethereum dropping, and he remade the Zcast logo in higher quality for me. Like, that's insane. And even the banners, like he just did this in the street, and I was like, oh yeah, I made this and this for you. I'm like, here you go. I'm like, oh thanks, buddy, but you didn't have to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible, man.
I wasn't asked to do any of it, but
Yeah,
I wanted to help out.
Yeah, this banner is incredible. I still love the way it looks, and it
Yeah.
really is unique to us, and that's why I love it so much.
I also have some other things in mind for the podcast that maybe should be shown in the next few weeks.
Ooh, flavor.
I hear this. My eyes are big.
It's gonna be
yeah,
a
they're
surprise though. I
right.
can't tell you to.
Okay, all right. We'll get surprised, I guess. But
Yeah.
okay, that's pretty exciting. But yeah, man, it's been a long podcast. We're nearing
This
the
was
2
the
hour
longest
mark almost.
podcast we've done so far, which was our
Yeah.
last one that we did was, I think, 1 hour and 20 minutes. And this one just
Around
went
there.
way past it. 1 hour and 40 minutes. Like, what the?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
we-
bad. I've been waffling a lot.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
okay.
think, no,
That's-
no,
that's the
no,
fun part about
I think,
this
I think it's fine though,
podcast.
because yeah, I think it's fine though, because we're not gonna set our limits. We don't have to,
Yeah.
Limit to what do we talk about. If we have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to talk about. It's really all it. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
if
it's
it's
good to have-
entertaining, it's entertaining. You know.
yeah,
Indeed.
if it takes more time to talk about it, but yeah, we just had a lot to talk about just with ourselves and everything going on. But yeah, we're gonna. I guess one last thing we could bring up before we get end the podcast is I guess a little update because I wanted to make sure we updated every week about everything quickly. So with zombies, just the community right now. Final thing I have to say is ZWC did start. The online tournament has started. That is underway. We're gonna continue to update you guys going forward. And with that, we continue to wait for more things to come within the community. But yeah, I think we're almost ready to wrap it up here.
Yeah,
Any
indeed.
last things we could say?
I
don't
can't wait
think
for
of
DLC
anything.
3.
Yeah, I can't wait until we get more zombies content because right now it just feels like we're in a waiting period. But hopefully that wraps up soon. Yeah, any last words, Slimmer, before we end it all?
Yeah, I think that is it, basically, right? I
Yes.
think there's nothing
again,
more really
thank
to
you.
say.
Yeah, thank you to thank you guys thank you to Chuse and everyone that's been supporting the podcast, all the people that have been in my chat. Sorry, I couldn't really read chat, but thank you all for coming through. I greatly appreciate it. I also appreciate Chuse for doing the things that he does for us for our podcast.
Been a pleasure.
Indeed.
And yeah, I think that's all. Again, we'll be here next week. Hopefully, more to talk about with you guys. We hope.
Yep.
But
Same
yeah.
here.
I'm not sure. Do we have a guest thought about yet, Flamer, or not just yet?
I have somebody in mind, which I am not gonna say yet. It's gonna be a surprise for the people to see. But he
Okay.
did say that he
Alright,
wanted to be on stream to tell you guys something really important, what's gonna happen in his life soon. So that's gonna be
Oh.
interesting.
Mrs. Juice.
Mrs. Chuse, oh my.
Mrs. Juice.
It's Mrs. Chuse. But yeah,
Oh
we're gonna be
God.
looking at a guest that is pretty entertaining. I can already say that. Does a lot for the community, is really funny, and is a humble guy. So yeah, you guys prepare for that. It's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna be talking a lot about some more stuff. We're probably gonna be talking about buttload about CWC since the first week just started, and we're gonna be seeing how everything's going. Well, I can already tell us one of the world records already got broken on Ancient Evil, so that's gonna be interesting to see how that's unfolding. And yeah.
Let's see. I think that's all we have so far for this week. Thank you guys coming out for watching. I really
Yeah.
appreciate everyone that also can listen afterwards on YouTube. Remember, always if you have any topics to send out, make sure to send them through Flamer's comment section or our Twitters.
Yep.
But yeah, besides that, thank you guys for coming out. And yeah, thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you next week. Thank you guys for watching.
So yeah, just want to say thank you, Chuse, for
Goodbye.
joining us. You were a great guest. We had our longest podcast yet. So thank you for being here and always for being a friend with us in the Sea Lads. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
I
that.
like podcasts. I like talking where I can freely talk.
Nice. Alright, do you have anything else you want to say, Chuse, before we wrap this up?
Nothing that I can think of right now. So thanks for having me.
No problem. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to rewatch this podcast, if you're on Revive stream, go to my YouTube, check it out. You can also put down the comments down below, and please check out Chuse. And maybe if you want some good ass thumbnails, go commission him. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As your boy New Summer Flamer, signing out. Have a good day. Bye.
Here, I'll wave even though no one can see it.